Hello there, this is Dan. Thanks for joining me today. I'm reviewing the Exped AirMat HL, which I'm pretty sure stands for Hyperlight, and I will believe it because this summer sleeping pad is only 10.9 ounces and my preferred pad for summer backpacking. So let's go into some of the features and some of the specs and talk about some of my likes and dislikes. The AirMat HL comes in this little blue stuff sack. You can see the volume is quite small, not very big at all. One of the things that I like about this. And inside, all the Exped pads, as far as I know, come with a little repair kit on this inside pocket. So you have some glue and some patches and things like that. So if you have a leak, you can repair that in the field. Now wrapped up inside of this, which is also included with the pad, is a mini pump, which is fantastic that they include this because I'm a big advocate of using a pump to blow up a sleeping pad as opposed to just blowing in it. Because who wants to do that? Not only will it preserve your sleeping pad longer, because you won't be putting all that humid air inside of your pad, and not to mention, who wants to blow up a sleeping pad after hiking all day when you get into camp? All right, let's unroll this thing. Now to blow this up, all the Exped pads have this really nice valve system. I love this feature on these Exped pads. So you undo the valve, and it has this little green stopper valve in there too, which is great because once you pull the pump off of it, all the air does not escape, even if you don't have this thing closed yet. So it has this green little flapper valve. And to inflate it with the mini pump, you just connect the pump to the pad, and there's this little hole on the top of it, and you just block that hole with your hand or your foot, and you start pumping. And then you let your hand off of it so that it inflates it again. It's filled with foam, so it has this kind of springy effect, and you just inflate away. And this won't take very long, maybe a minute and a half or so. But I'm going to stop that for a moment and show you my preferred method of inflating this pad. All right, my preferred method is to use this Schnozzel Pumpbag. Schnozzel, again, pretty funny name. What I love about this is it can double as a dry bag and a pump. So I actually use this for my quilt because it is a dry bag. It'll keep everything completely waterproof. But then you can also use it as a pump. And it's even easier and faster to use than that mini pump. And because you can use it as a stuff sack, it's kind of like a net zero effect as far as weight. You're not really adding much to it because you still need to have a dry bag, or at least you should for your quilt or sleeping bag. And the way this works, it has a similar valve on the end of this little schnozzle here. And same thing, you just hook that up to the valve on your pad, get some air in it, then roll it up and push. And I'm going to show you this in real time because it is quite fast to use with this pump bag. So just push all the air into the mats, and then when you need a little more, just unroll it, get some more air. Push that in. I think we'll probably need one more, maybe a half. I'm going to say a half. Look at that. And take that off. And again, the air does not come out because of the green flapper valve inside of there. But it's a good idea just to close that off, make it nice and secure. And there you go. And this is what it looks like all inflated. It is a mummy style pad, so it's wider at the shoulder part of the pad and then tapers down to the foot end of the pad. And that helps to keep the overall pad weight a bit lighter. Deflating the pad is also very easy thanks to this great valve system. So it's a single valve for both inflating and deflating. And what you do, just take off this front cover, and then it includes this little thing that you can just stick inside of the green flapper valve to hold it open and then deflate it. Then just roll it up and deflate it like you would with any normal pad. And just go ahead and get all the air out. There you go. Let's go over a few of the specs of the AirMat HL. So like I mentioned, the pad itself is 10.9 ounces. The stuff sack with the little repair kit is 0.4 ounces. And the mini pump that is included is 1.6 ounces. The surface of the pad has this, what they're calling a next to skin comfort. And it does feel kind of softer, even though it is just nylon or whatever it is. It just feels a little bit softer than the underside of the pad. And it's kind of hard to describe, but it does grip your skin a little bit better in a good way so that you're not sliding off the pad all the time. And again, it just feels kind of comfortable, at least a little more comfortable than most other pads that I've tried. Now, it's a full-length pad, so it's 72 inches long, and it's 2.8 inches thick, which is great for side sleepers like me. It's a mummy-style pad, so it's 20 and a half inches at the shoulder part of the pad and 13.8 inches at the foot of the pad. It has an R value of 1.9, which isn't particularly high. Exped says that it's good for about 39 degrees, down to about 39 degrees Fahrenheit. I have foolishly used this pad in about 25 degree weather, and I obviously did not freeze to death. But I was not very comfortable. So that is definitely stretching the limit down to 25 degrees. I kind of believe the 39 degrees. I think you might be all right at that point. But I would say definitely 50 degrees and above, you should be totally fine and comfortable with this pad. I should also mention that I'm using the medium version of the pad, and there is no small before you ask. But the medium version, again, is a full-length pad, but they also make a medium wide version and a long wide version. So the medium wide version is the same length, 72 inches, but the width at the shoulder is extended to 25.6 inches, and at the foot, 15.7 inches. And the length for the long wide version, same width of course, but the length is 77.6 inches. And the price of the one I'm using, the medium regular width, is $109, and it increases to $119 for the medium wide and $129 for the long wide. All right, let's talk about some of my likes and dislikes of this pad. So my first and biggest like is definitely the weight. Again, only 10.9 ounces is fantastic. It's a lightweight pad, it packs down small. Love, love, love the weight of this pad. The other one, again, that I mentioned before is the whole valve system. Again, I'm a really big advocate for using a pump with a sleeping pad. And it's great that they also include a pump that you can bring with you and one that's quite light and easy to use. My other like is this next to skin comfort type of a material. Again, don't quite understand how it works or anything, but it just feels a little bit nicer than most other pads. Another one of my likes is the fact that this pad is really quiet. At least quiet compared to something like one of the Thermarest Neo Air pads that have those kind of like aluminum foil basically on the inside of the pad. It'll raise its R value, but it makes it very, very loud, almost like sleeping on top of a bag of potato chips. This pad, I mean, no noise at all because there's nothing, no insulation or anything inside of this pad. The R value, again, is low because of that, but if you're looking for just a summer backpacking pad, you really don't need it to be that high. Another big like for me is the price. It retails for $109, which is typically better than, again, some of the Thermarest pads. I know I'm picking on Thermarest so much, but they're the popular ones. So $109, I think, is pretty reasonable for something that's this light and this high of quality. And lastly, another like of mine are the dimensions of this pad, especially the thickness at 2.8 inches, which is a little bigger than some other pads, again, like the Thermarest, which I'm pretty sure is 2.5 inches. Now let's talk about some of my dislikes. There really aren't many. In fact, the only things that I have to say are kind of minor and really just features of the pad that I'm kind of looking for anyway. One I will say is, I guess the valve system I can also say is a dislike, only in the sense that if you do have to inflate this by mouth or you want to for some reason, it's just not that easy. At least not as easy as some of the other pads. Mostly because it's just a big old round valve. So to inflate it, you kind of have to make out with the thing, which I'm not going to show you right now. But if I have to say one bad thing about the valve system, it would be that. But again, as long as you're using a pump, which you should, then you should be totally fine. The other dislike that I guess I have to sort of mention is the R value. It is low, again, at only 1.9, but I don't know, this isn't really much of a dislike for me because I know that to increase the R value, I would have to trade off something else that I already like about this pad. They can make it a little bit thicker, which would increase the R value a little bit, but then it would be heavier. They could put one of those pieces of reflecting foil like they do in the Thermarest pads, but then it would be noisy. So yeah, I'm totally fine with the R value, but I guess, of course, it could always be a little bit higher just to get you through some of those colder shoulder seasons. Well, that pretty much does it for my review of the Exped AirMat HL. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, have fun out there. Exped says that's good to about... That's my dog.